Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler.
All right, it is 11:03 on the Lock Shop. Thank you very much for being here today. And the Lock Shop is brought to you by Play Alberta. All of Edmonton Sports Talk now brought to you by Play Alberta, but the Lock Shop specifically brought to you by Play Alberta. And we got some bonuses locked and loaded for everybody right now. I've had a lot of people texting in, asking about this. A lot of people say, "Hey, Dusty, I just threw my $100 bonus bet on the early bird bet that we threw up earlier today." I'll recap that quickly. Huss is going to join us. Obviously, we're going to dive into tonight's slate as well, recap that Jets game last night as well, build a little partner parlay that we'll be able to throw up as well. I know the DGen Dan is cooking on something as well. We'll get that up as go to playalberta.ca, and then right there in quick links, you see odd boosts, you see daily specials, you see EST specials, and there's two up there right now. The early bird bet is already in, locked and loaded. Oilers to win, McDavid 2 points, Bouchard a point, Draisaitl a goal plus 325, and then Dusty's play of the day, which I posted on Twitter about an hour ago. Zach Hyman just to score a goal tonight, plus 203. He has been all around it physically. He is definitely involved, and he scored some big goals against the Kings in the past. If you go to playalberta.ca right now and deposit $20 and use the promo code 100sports, that's 100 sports in caps, 100 sports, deposit 20, you'll get a $100 free bet. And this is for both current and new players. So if you already have an account, you don't have to, sign up from a different email or anything like that. It's for new and existing players. Use the code 100 sports, deposit 20, and you get a $100 free bet. You can also use the code YEG50, and on a $5 deposit, you'll get a $50 free bet as well. That is also good for both new and existing users, and we will be with EST rolling out more of these every single month. So I'll hop on those right now. Also, if you want to dabble in the casino, deposit 20, use the promo code 100casino, and you will get a $100 casino bonus as well, which I think a few of you have already dabbled in as well. So the promo codes are 100 sports, YEG50, and 100 casino. If you want to get in over there, I see I see Big Uke over there. It says the Grand Est parlay, the EST parlay. They're working on it, man. That Discord is really hopping around this time of day. I popped in there quickly, and I was a little overwhelmed. I love this one from Mitchie over in the chat. Probably because I don't know what I'm doing. I used the entire $100 bet on Dusty's first bet this morning. Play Alberta might not be too fond of us if that plus 325 cashes and everybody's just got their free $100 bet on it. But that's what happens when you launch a partnership. So we'll have some new codes coming in June, but those are the ones that'll get you started right now. And then, like I said, we'll build a little parlay. We'll put that together. That'll pop up there a little bit later on. And on the Reed Wilkins show today, Jay will have his play of the day, which will also be found on the EST specials page at Play Alberta. Okay, so how about the Winnipeg Jets? I was texting with Huss before, and I did say 4-1 for the Jets. That must have been a hell of a game last night to be at. Let's bring in the man himself from Winnipeg Sports Talk. They have a nice side. I love seeing Remo in a tie on the post-game recap. I watched it this morning with young Connor there. Remo cleans up nicely, doesn't he, Huss? Oh, Huss, are you muted? Do you have yours muted, or is that us?
Sorry.
You just couldn't say anything nice about Remo.
Out of the bunker. And listen, it's great to have him and Connor bang that out after the game. I mean, dude, I have not felt relief after a game. The nervous energy and anxiety that we had to chew on for 3 days. Well, more like 3.5 days, because the game didn't start till almost 9:00 last night, and we were sitting there since the noon game on Sunday. But that was, listen, the Jets have their playoff demons, right? I mean, the last 2 years, everyone's heard about it. And it was going to be a defining moment for this team. Now, I mean, listen, the series isn't over, but I think you could have safely said that it would have been if they'd lost that game last night. Going back to St. Louis, where the Blues were so good in games 3 and 4. And for them to lose Mark Scheifele for the second and third periods, have Connor Hellebuck give up. I mean, there's been some talk about some goals that have gone in and all the save percentage.
That second goal, man.
The second goal was absolutely terrible.
I couldn't believe it.
And that tied it up. Scheifele was already out. You got Vlad Nemestikov, who, with all due respect, is probably playing way above his normal level as a 2C. As the 1C, it didn't look good. And I cannot say enough about what every single player did last night to step up. Ellie made some big saves. And I mean, he did make a save. Did you see the paddle save that he made in the first period?
Yeah. On the 2-on-1.
Like, dude, that may very well be a series saver. Because at the time, the Jets had a great start. They score. They had a really bad shift after that. DeMello and Morrissey were sort of caved in their own zone. They couldn't get it out. It ends up in the back of the net. And it's 1-1. Jets get a power play. And that 2-on-1 happened on, like, the Blues were shorthanded. If a shorty goes in there, I mean, you want to talk about taking the air out of a building and just have everybody.
Maybe a series, buddy.
Out.
Maybe a series.
100%. 100%. So he did show some of the MVP medal that he's shown all season long. But then that goal goes in. You're like, what is going on? But to have Nemestikov step up, Mason Appleton had a massive game. Adam Lowry did what the team needed him to do. And for them to win that game, I mean, it had been the first time since 2018 that they had won a playoff game following a loss.
No way.
Well, you think about it. They lost 4 straight to Montreal after sweeping the Oilers.
Yep.
They win the first game against Vegas, lose 4 straight. Win the first game against Colorado,
and lose 4 straight again.
4 straight. Win the first 2 games against St. Louis, and then had lost those 2 games. I mean, this was the biggest gut check for that group of players I really think that they'd ever had. And to have the adversity that they were faced with and to step up in the fashion that they did, it was a pretty special night. I mean, the entire city is going to be screwed today. I mean, that game didn't end till close to midnight.
Just everybody's. This is what you're great doing your show in the afternoon. Eh? Just a genius move. Yeah.
Thank
guy.
God for that. Even, but as they say, that vibes are very high. It was an amazing bit. And, you know, I saw an interview, who was it? Kevin Hayes, who, of course, the Jets traded for in 2019 and was playing for the Jets against the Blues in that series that they ended up losing in 6. Was on with Whitney and Biz on Spit and Chicklets. And Whitney was, I think, kind of trying to give a dig to Biz, who's like a big Leaf guy.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, so, you know, this is they were talking about game 5 and the situation the Jets were in and all that. And he said, you know, is it going to be like the Leafs where, you know, they're quiet and then they'll start booing the home team, or will they try to build them up? And Hayes said 100% they'll be building them up. I mean, like the start of the game, and let's face it, there's a lot of questions about Hellebuck in the last couple of games and the playoffs over the last few years that are still going to need to be answered going forward. But he said, no, they will be building them up. And right before the game, I mean, huge MVP chance for Helly, who was, by the way, named a finalist for the Hart Trophy.
As was Draisaitl, despite the players slighting both of them.
Yeah, no kidding. But for everyone, for all lock shoppers that have been riding throughout the season and getting on any of those Hart futures, the dream is still alive. We'll find out at the end of June, I guess.
One step closer. What about the back and forth between the coaches, the hits on Scheifele? Oh. How does that stuff sorts itself out? That Shen hit on Scheifele was something fierce.
No, listen, it was, I mean, certainly it was over the line. I mean, there's no supplemental discipline, so we're going to have to figure it out. We still don't know the status of Mark Scheifele going forward. And, like, I don't know if you watched the game, but so, like, that hit happened. He came back and he played for, you know, a more, I think probably, well, Montgomery said about another 6 minutes in the first period. But when he got hit by Faxa, he got up. The puck was in the zone. He chased it all the way into the zone while there was a delayed offside. And I said to the guys I was sitting with, this is bad. Like, I think Scheifele might be concussed, because he's a guy that has so much awareness about the play and what's going on. for him to not know or not compute that this was offside and he needed to get out, you could just tell something was off. And he never came back to the game. Listen, Arniel was hot. There had been some really borderline hits earlier in the series that, for whatever reason, I mean, hadn't really been either called or discussed. But what really pissed him off was Jim Montgomery, who was sort of, I think, trying to get out in front of it, saying that, Scheifele got hurt on the Faxa hit. He had played that before. Well, yeah. I mean, Arnie with his line, I didn't know that Monty had his medical degree.
that was a great line.
Great line. And he was pissed. I mean, he said that was really out of line to be talking about, one of the other team's players and their health condition. So, I mean, unbelievable gut check. They passed it. They'll have a chance to move on into round number 2 on Friday night. And I will say this, and I'll get into this more on WST. The team stepped up in absence of Mark Scheifele and in the face of Connor Hellebuyck, who actually did make a couple of huge saves, yep. But that goal could have been an absolute killer. I think we're going to see a Hellebuyck masterpiece on Friday night.
You think so? That's what's loading here, hey?
I think he's going to be paying back the club. They're going to need, I mean, if they want to win that game in St. Louis, they're going to need an MVP type performance from him. And I think they get it. There's it was a fun night last night. I got to say, this playoff hockey is tough on the ticker. I'm sure there's a lot of Oiler fans that empathize with me with what you guys have been through with these thrillers so far.
Well, you know what's kind of happened to me here over the last couple of years, Huss, is that I've never really been like a hardcore Oilers fan. Growing up, my wife and kids cheer for the Oilers, so I want that. But since I've become like a business owner that relies heavily on the Oilers' success. I mean, I've been full blown on board to cheer it, just losing my mind because every time they win, it's just huge for us. Just huge.
No one should be a bigger Oiler fan than every member of the Edmonton Sports Talk team.
Yeah, it's just since 1260 died and we started this. I mean, I'm hanging on every goal come playoff time. I'm just like, give us another week. Okay, give us 2 weeks. Let's go on a run, especially after we were spoiled when we launched EST last year and got every single ounce of content that we could out of the run. I'm like, they can't go out in the first round. What are we going to get 2 weeks of playoff stuff? This is ridiculous. So, I mean, it's added to it, though. It's a real rush being tied into these games from a business perspective. I feel like a lot of the fans out there now, and it's a wild ride, man. It's a wild ride.
Well, I mean, listen, I think you know me. I keep my cards pretty much on the table for everyone to see. I'd be freaking out no matter what. But yeah, when you tie in what it means for what we're doing in our market, what you guys are doing in your market, to have teams, do well in the playoffs and captivate, the hardcore fans, but also just fans that are really sort of getting into it and want more content. And obviously we're there for them. There's a big game. I just, thank God I didn't have to do a show today talking about a third straight loss. I mean, the last 3 days, and dude, the fact that, I told you we had this early game on Sunday, you got to chew on it. You come in on the Monday, you kind of get it all out. By the end of yesterday's show, there was nothing more to say. We had heard from everyone. We'd had all the takes. And at the end, none of it mattered. It was all about what happened once they dropped the puck last night. And for the Jets to step up and answer a lot of questions, a lot of doubters, and to do it in the fashion that they did, will certainly be good for the WST numbers and the brand going forward. And, it's funny, Game 6, the schedule, I think, really did play in. Arniel mentioned, with that 3-day break or the extra day.
Yeah, the extra day.
Before Game 3, I think that was a good thing for St. Louis to get over the first 2 losses. I think the same situation happened going into Game 5. But now it's kind of great. The schedule is broken so well for us, at least. Friday night, it's going to be a 7:00 game. There's one game in the National Hockey League on Friday. It's Winnipeg, St. Louis. And if the Blues are able to win and get this thing back to 7, It'll be a standalone Game 7 on Sunday night because everything else is happening tonight and Saturday. And to be in a great mood, coming off a win, going into tonight, I was talking with some friends after last night after the game. This tonight, like unless all the road teams or all the teams that are down 3-2 win, and we have Saturday that has like 4 Game 7s.
Oh God, can you imagine a 4 Game 7 Saturday? Holy smokes.
Well, I'll be honest, this is going to be pretty close. I mean, tonight's action, 4 amazing series, an elimination game, an opportunity for 4 teams to win. 4 teams need to stay alive. This is going to be one of the best nights of the entire Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't think it's hyperbole to throw that out there. I mean, starting off with the Battle of Ontario. Oh, yeah. You got Dallas and Colorado, Vegas, Minnesota going at it. And what's the other game that I'm missing?
Edmonton.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. It's that stacked night. And we'll get to those lines, 4 games tonight. So a nice little chance to actually build a parlay tonight. But just sticking with last night, Huss, you said the playoffs have been great so far, huge games today. Does any of it matter, or is Florida just going to walk to another Stanley Cup championship here, do you think? They go into Tampa, hang 6 more on the Tampa Bay Lightning, and wrap up what we expected to be a long Battle of Florida in a rather tidy 5 games.
I mean, listen, I picked the Florida Panthers to go through the East. So,
Did you take the Panthers back to the Cup final?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good call.
Listen, my bracket was the full Jets revenge tour. It was St. Louis in the first round. It was from 2019. It was Colorado in the second round for last year. The conference final, I think, in the bracket I put was Vegas, who beat them to go to the Cup final in 2018. And then continuing with the revenge tour narrative, in the Cup final, the final boss, former Jet coach Paul Maurice, and the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. So listen, there's kind of a fun story that we've been talking about that is possible right now. And obviously there's a ton of work to go. But I do think that the Panthers just have that makeup that, once things get dirty, come playoff time, they are a team that is just an absolute handful. Now, I don't think this series should be over now. I know that Tampa is going to really regret letting that one slip away in game number 5 that put them to the brink, or I guess game 4 that put them to the brink. So the Panthers now have at the start, when you thought of it, the Leafs went up 3-0. And they're looking at, okay, perfect. We can get a nice, easy series right off the bat. And let's face it, Florida and Tampa are probably going to go 6-7, most likely. All of a sudden, it's the Panthers that get the extra rest. And the Leafs battling the Sens and all of their demons as the series continues tonight. And, the Sens are favored tonight. This we could absolutely be getting a 7th game. Do you think, is this basically a game 7 for Toronto tonight?
Man, I'm trying to think if it's just my life, if my lifelong anti-Leaf hate is clouding my answer on that one. Because I instantly want to go, yes, of course, because they're going to choke for sure in game 7 at home. But that's
what Leaf fans will say.
Yeah, Leaf fans will say that too.
The game. Dude, the angst. I saw Steve Dangle losing his mind. Talking to the fellas back in Toronto. And I get it. The numbers are so damning right now. Yeah. And there's no way around it. 1-13 in their last 14 clinch situations, a power play that's 0 for 30. That's an hour of power play time that those players haven't scored in. And then coming up as small as they did in that game at home against Ottawa. I talked a lot this week about the Jets kind of staring their demons in the face.
Would we only say this about the Leafs, Huss?
Yeah.
Do you think? Yeah. I think because of everything. Every other team in the league, you'd be like, oh, you got game 7 at home. That's your game 7. But yeah, maybe this is it. Maybe this is it, just because of everything.
I heard O-Dog. I mean, it was funny listening to Hayes and O-Dog yesterday on Overdrive talk about just the importance of this game. I mean, they were still in anger mode from the way the team came out and played in game number 5, being shut out on home ice. But if Ottawa gets this to 7, the noise and the pressure that team is going to be feeling it'll be unlike anything that we've seen before. And the problem is that this group, until they actually do it, you'll look at that 1-13 record in clinch games. And the fact that they haven't been able to do it. So I am so fascinated about this game tonight. I think that the CTC is going to be rocking. The Sens really are playing with house money right now, but they've got some momentum. I think they're feeling much better. I mean, just think about how far they've come. They didn't look like they belonged in game number 1. The Leafs were running all over. Now, listen, they lost those 2 overtime games, but the way that they battled back in this series, they absolutely feel like they belong right now. And as I say, they're in a great situation, because if they do lose, the season has already been a huge success. The way they got up off the mat down 3-0, I think has done
on that
a lot for them moving forward. And they have shifted the focus, the pressure, all the narratives. It's all on the other team tonight. And I mean, listen, I'm with you. Game 7 at home. I mean, you still got to play and you got to go out and win the game. And there's a lot of great players on the Leafs. But I think for their sake, they got to get it done tonight. Because to have to deal with these ghosts for another 48 hours going into a game 7, which would be, I mean, listen, they've had some pretty significant losses. They've blown 3-1 leads. I mean, they've found many different ways to lose during this group. Blowing a 3-0 lead to the Ottawa Senators in the Battle of Ontario would be
that would have to be the worst thing that's happened since 67 when they won it. I mean, of all the things, that would have to be the worst one. Undoubtedly.
Probably.
Yeah. 3-0 to a team that is your provincial rival, that is below you in the standings and just got into the playoffs for like the first time as a group. And you had this
little brother.
Yeah. You can't do that. Yeah, we're going to talk about it on 2 Guys and Goalie coming up here with the Leafs as well, Huss. Like, if they, we're jumping ahead here. Sens need 2 more wins, but if they blow this, I mean, it's time to that core 4 that gets like mentioned all the time can't be back next year. I mean, you got to try something else.
I mean, listen, talking to the Leaf fans in my circles, they, I mean, they'll want everybody gone. I mean, already. I mean, I get a kick. I don't watch a ton of Steve Dangle, but in times like these, his content is definitely going to get into your feed, and his reaction to this. And I think, part of the reason why he's been successful is that he really does speak for the fans.
That's his whole thing. It always has been, right?
You know what? And does a great job. But in times like this is when, unfortunately for Leaf fans, the content is the best, because there's so much legitimate angst, anxiety, and dread over what to come, just because they've seen it so many times. I will say this to Leaf fans, though. I was feeling the exact same way, and that's why I haven't been talking anything about the Leafs or anything else, because, this team here in Winnipeg has its own demons to get over, and last night was a huge step forward in doing that. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Leafs went out and won 5-1 tonight. I mean, they're good enough that if those top guys kind of step up and play anywhere close to their best, I think they could absolutely win this game. But man, if Ottawa gets up early in the game, if they can score the first goal, I mean, you're just going to start feeling more and more about this world of pressure on all of these players. And I don't know. I'd love to hear what Craig Berube's saying to that team right now, because he sort of was brought in to be that guy to kind of take them over the hump. And right now, so far, we've seen it's same old. When the team, like, they do a lot of great things, it's not like they're getting swept. But when they have the opportunity to finish off opponents, they have been unable to come anywhere close to their best right now. And, I kind of said that this was the biggest gut check that this Winnipeg Jet group had seen in, 5 years, maybe ever as a group last night. I'm saying the same thing for the Maple Leafs tonight. And, it is funny seeing them like right around even money as an underdog.
Yeah, it's crazy. Looking at right now, the Ottawa Senators minus 125 at home tonight. The Leafs aren't a big dog here, but they are a dog on a road in a tough spot. So we'll keep that in mind as we work our way through these games. But I don't think either of us are opposed to the Ottawa Senators here at minus 125 tonight. And as a minus 125 play, that's a standalone play too if you like Ottawa tonight.
Hey, let me ask you this just before we get, because we can kind of dive in with our thoughts on all of the games.
Yeah,
but if you had to throw down, whatever your account, you've got one bet left and you need to cash it tonight and you're not worried about the odds. You're just, you need to get a win on a money line bet for tonight. You've got 8 teams. Who is the team you are most confident wins tonight in Game 6?
Oh, man.
It's certainly not anyone in the Toronto-Ottawa series. I can tell you that much.
You know what? I just don't want to be a major homer, but I'm very confident in the Oilers tonight.
To me, it's Colorado or Edmonton.
Yeah.
I think Edmonton too. I mean, they, we've been talked a lot about the Jets demons and what the Leafs are dealing with right now.
Yeah.
What was that flight like for the Los Angeles Kings heading up to
Quiet as hell. Quiet as hell, man. The Oilers have utterly dominated them for 5 periods now. Somebody will fire me the exact stat. Trev, you might even know it off the top of your head. But what are the shots over the last 4 periods? 80-37 or something like that. Your mic's not on there, Trev.
There we are. It's so lopsided. The Oilers, I'm pretty sure it was just under 80.
Yeah, they've had 50 more shots than the Kings. And as we said yesterday, their expected goals in the last game was 8-1. So I think they come out at home I think they, that 8-1. My official prediction was 5-2. And the Oilers are minus 175 tonight. Like we said, outside of the value on the play, what's the one must-win bet you would make tonight? And I do think it would be the Edmonton Oilers tonight. The Kings are just they're gassed because they only play 9 forwards and 4D. Hiller screwed him already once on a challenge. Byfield had a chance to maybe sort of ice the series close to away, couldn't get the puck out. And they've got these, and now they've lost 3 in a row. They had a game last game where their goalie played good enough to goalie the other team, and it still wasn't good enough to get it done. The only thing that concerns me with the Edmonton Oilers, the small little bit of hesitation I have going into the game tonight, is the fact that the Oilers, and they'll talk about it all the time. McDavid's talking about it all the time. People doubt us when our backs are against the wall. Tonight, for a moment at least, their backs aren't against the wall tonight. Right? Tonight's they're up 3-2. And now they've been good in closing situations over the last little while. So I'll give them credit there. But yeah, to me, the answer to this question would be the Edmonton Oilers, I think, at minus 175. You mentioned the Colorado Avalanche in there as well. You like the Avs quite a bit tonight, eh?
I do. I do. Going back home after, they could have already won this series. They're facing elimination tonight, which is pretty crazy to think about. But to be honest, that game just got away on them. Wyatt Johnson scored 9 seconds in. They get another one later on in the first period. At that point, the Avs were playing catch up. Mackenzie Blackwood didn't have his best game, and it just got away on them. But to me, this series is going 7. I think the Avalanche have a huge performance tonight, and I'm pretty confident that Edmonton and Colorado take care of business tonight. I think you could make the argument that the most likely Game 7 is absolutely the Battle of Ontario. As we said, Ottawa is a favorite in this game. They're playing at home. And then you got Vegas and Minnesota. And, we didn't spend a lot of time talking about this yesterday because of course we were focused in on, the aftermath of Edmonton, LA, and what was going to happen with the Jets in St. Louis. But Minnesota has, listen, I can't stand that team. Ryan Hartman is the biggest rat in the NHL, and the fact that my parlay blew up, but at least it was him who got the winning goal disallowed, gave me a little bit of happiness when it went down. I don't know how you come back against a team like Vegas, having lost the last two in overtime and having a brutal offside that they have only themselves to blame for, taking what would have been, in all likelihood, the winning goal off the board. And like every team, you always focus in on your own team and the storylines around it. Oh, the Jets haven't done well in the playoffs the last couple of years. The Leafs can't win these games. LA can't get over the hump that is the Edmonton Oilers. The Wild can't get out of the first round. And I thought that they played well enough to put themselves in a situation in front of their home fans that they would have had that chance tonight. And instead, they are playing to stay alive right now as a pretty significant home dog tonight. But as I say, I think that this team is live. And they've been a live dog in all of these games, including the ones in Vegas. I would love to, just from a fan standpoint, I would love to see this series go 7 games. Because it really has been a fun series to watch. And to be honest, I think Minnesota kind of deserves to get it back to Vegas, but they're going to have their hands full tonight with the team that does have that killer instinct, does have the championship experience, and is going to be looking to finish their opponent tonight.
Yeah, Minnesota plus 130 right now if you'd like to get them as a live dog, which I think was like the same number that we were talking about earlier in the series when we liked them, and they ended up, that must have been probably the game 3 number was plus 130, and we got them. No, that might not have been the game 3 number. But I thought it was around plus 130, or was it not plus 130 like last week when we were like, we like Minnesota as a dog tonight?
The road game that they won in Vegas.
Was that a plus 130?
That was like plus 190. Like Vegas has been a heavy favorite in all of these games. Especially at home. So the home numbers obviously on Minnesota has been less so, but the book has consistently liked Vegas as a big favorite in this game, and I don't think it's really adjusted for just how well the Wild have been playing and what that top line is doing right now. So that's kind of why I've hit Minnesota a lot in this series. I kind of thought that they've been undervalued because of just how well they've been playing at Vegas. And as I say, we'll see whether they can get this series back to it. I don't mind them as a home dog though tonight. I'm just kind of laying it out here. If we just go Colorado, Edmonton, and Ottawa, which I think we're on board with, that's plus 324. We could take the Sens out and put the Wild in. Which would obviously make that a little bit different. That brings it up to plus 442. And then before we get up on the ESD specials page, it'll get a little bit of a boost there. I don't know. What do you want? Do you want to go chalky, or do you want to throw Minnesota into the mix here? Well, to me, I think that this Ottawa-Toronto game, I don't know whether, would I like to see game 7, and would I be absolutely here for all of the panic and crazy talk going to Toronto? Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. Maybe this is crazy. I know Leaf fans aren't really feeling like this right now. Part of me thinks that you guys are just too good to have this happen again.
Yeah.
And I think maybe they go and they step up right now. So to be honest, I think I'd lean at Minnesota at a much better number, or as a bigger underdog at home against Vegas. They certainly are not going to quit. And as I say, that top line right now is playing at such a high level that they're going to give them a chance to win each and every night. I'm assuming Gustafson's back this evening.
It's a good question.
I think we talked about this yesterday. It was so bizarre. We're just sitting here watching the game. They come back out for the third period. Tight game. What the hell's Marc-Andre Fleury doing?
You got to be pretty damn sick to have to come out of a playoff game. He is listed as the likely starter tonight over at Daily Faceoff. So,
make that happen.
Let's do that then.
As I say, I love the Oilers. I love the Abs tonight. If you even want to, just do a more conservative 2-gamer.
Yeah.
You could go with that. But I think honestly, considering how much of a bigger underdog Minnesota is, as opposed to, a pretty tight line in the Ottawa and the Toronto game, I think probably the value is there on Minnesota. And as I say, I mean, I'm still sour about the way that ended the other day, which would have been such a beautiful banger at like 16-1. But we ride again tonight with it. But as I say, I think Minnesota is a very, very live dog tonight. And I guess, partly the fan in me, I'd love to see that series go 7, much as I would love to see the Battle of Ontario go 7 for content purposes alone.
Yeah, of course. Big Uke saying Oilers -1.5, Avs in regulation, wild money line, and Sens +1.5 is +11 to 61. Which, if you want a piece of all 4 games, I actually don't mind what he's put together there. And Big Uke, fire me the DGen Den parlay when you guys lock that in there as well.
Uke brings up, I mean, we've just been talking about money line. Yeah. I've got a lot of time for the Oiler and Avalanche puck lines tonight. Well, listen, I really feel like both of these teams, I think LA is cooked. And I think the Oilers are a team that there's no question over whether they will go for the jugular. They did in game number 5. We saw what the result was. I don't think they let up at all tonight, and I don't think the Kings have what it takes to push back in that fashion, especially on the road. And I think we're going to see, psycho Nate McKinnon so focused tonight in this game against Dallas. So that I really expect that to go to 7, but I'm not sure it'll be as close of a game as the other ones that I've seen. So, if you are up in the air on the Toronto-Ottawa game, and maybe you're not feeling as much on, taking a risk with a home dog like Minnesota, I've got a lot of time for the puck line on the Avalanche and the puck line on the Edmonton Oilers, as I think both of those teams will win, and it wouldn't surprise me if there's not a lot of drama or suspense in the third period of either of those games.
Hey, early thoughts on Washington +125 dog in this series against Carolina?
I mean,
do you think are they a slight dog? Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment?
I don't really think it's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, this is the same conversation we've been having with the Jets all season. Now, obviously, the Jets without Scheifele and Ehlers, they got to find a way to win. Definitely undermanned, but Washington's just getting Protas back. He played last night. He should be good to go for that series. I've thought all year long, it hasn't really made sense why Carolina has been such a darling of odds makers and sports books. Like, I get it, they're good, but they've been kind of the favorite for a good portion of the time coming out of the East. And I'll be honest, I didn't get it. I think Washington has been playing at an elite level all year long. I love their coach. Ovi's running right now. And let's face it, when these series get rough, they've got Tom Wilson. They got a ton of size. And
it's going to get rough, is it not? It's not going to be, Caps are going to grease this thing up.
I'll tell you right now, I will be taking Washington as presumably as an underdog in this series coming up. And they're going to have home ice. I just don't really understand why they're as big of a dog. And listen, there's some things cooked into the numbers of the books. Love the Hurricanes, and I think it's
been that way for a while. Yep.
But they've never really given, I think, the Caps the respect they deserve with the season that they've had right now. And listen, they took care of a Montreal team. Like, Montreal got their 1 win at home. They took care of business really well. Carolina, I know they made it through Jersey in 5 games, but they were down 3-0 at home in that other game. Like, Washington isn't letting you back in like the way the Devils did right now. So I'm taking Washington, I think, in this series, and I'll be more than happy at getting it a number with a nice plus sign before it.
You can pop by, man, if you want to get over there. So just somebody in here shooting some stuff. As we threw this out this morning, I just want your out of market opinion on it, because we were talking here. Obviously, we're jumping the gun a little bit, but we were just saying, if the Oilers were to make a run back to the Stanley Cup final, would Oilers fans rather want the shot at revenge against the Florida Panthers or a Stanley Cup final against the Toronto Maple Leafs to be able to like finally put that whole Oilers Leafs thing to bed? What do you think? What do you think would be better off?
Leafs.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's more likely they could beat the Leafs. But revenge would be sweet against Florida. I tell you, after losing in Game 7 last year, like,
yeah. I mean, can you imagine? And I mean, listen, we've had the same conversation. Again, there's so much work to do. I mean, it's kind of a fool's exercise talking about who you're going to play in the Cup final when you got really good teams that'll be in your way before then. But given the moment to think about it, like either Winnipeg, Edmonton, going up against Toronto in an all-Canadian Stanley Cup final would be, I mean, like media-wise, like
it would
now,
be nuts.
like
It would be nuts.
It'd be unlike anything that we've seen before, and I would just the thought of that. The one thing that I'm worried about, and I don't think this would be the case in Edmonton as much as it would be here in Winnipeg, is that if you make it to the Cup final, and now all the tickets are like $600, $700, $800, it will price out a lot of fans that normally would be at the games. And the one thing that the Leaf Nation has is numbers and money. And I would really worry about it basically being a split crowd in a building like ours. If that was the case, that wouldn't be the case if it was the Panthers or pretty much any of the US teams, but the Leafs are there. Although we just spent a bunch of time talking about the Leafs and the possibility of blowing a 3-0 lead in the first round against Ottawa. I'm not sure we really need to start talking about potential Stanley Cup final matchups with them right now. But funny thing is, though, they go out and play a good game. Austin Matthews steps up, Nylander, those guys.
Maybe it pushes them on, right? Like it really.
Well, I really do believe that. I think at some point, and I think we saw some of this going back to the Winnipeg St. Louis series last night. And I don't know if we've really heard this from the Leafs, but we heard it from the Jets. We weren't good enough. We need to be better. Like kind of acknowledging the past, the present, the pressure that they have, go and face it and handle it. Listen, I haven't listened to a lot of what the players have said, but the Leaf players are always sort of, well, yeah, we didn't get a couple breaks, it was too bad, but there's never been that real outward accountability. And if they did that, were able to get over the hump, I think they will be a dangerous team. But as I say, I still think Florida's coming out of that division, especially after taking care of Tampa the way they did and knowing that this series is going a minimum of 6 and potentially to a 7th game.
Huss, I watched more of the Jets Blues game than I usually would last night because I couldn't stand to watch the Lakers and the Timberwolves last night.
I was wondering when we were going to get to
I know. I have a few minutes here. I had to get to it. I was coming in here last night. I had a bunch of extra work to do. So I came in and I was like, you know what? I'll set the game up on my iPad. And then I was a little bit late getting in. By the time I got in, the Lakers were already down 10. And I was just like, oh my God, I haven't even started watching the game yet. So I turned it on, watched for a little bit. Their inability to do anything against Rudy Gobert frustrated me so much that in the second, like with 5 minutes left in the first half, I was like, nope, no more. Flipped over, watched the Jets Blues for a while. And then I was doing work and then I'm falling out on my phone and they come back and tie it early in the fourth quarter. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give it a little bit. We'll see where this goes. And it stayed close for about 3, 4, 5 minutes. And then I flipped the game back on and I see a Rudy Gobert put back dunk. And I was just like, nope, not doing it. Turned it off again because I was full blown melt. You talked about being on the edge of your seat as a fan. I was full blown raging for the first half of that game last night. But like I said this morning, like Luka needed to be better defensively. LeBron needed to contribute more offensively. Austin Reeves didn't do anything, and they just didn't have a big body that could, first of all, guard Julius Randle, who had a pretty good series. And then yesterday, you cannot go down on a 27-24 game from Rudy freaking Gobert. It was an all-time buzzkill, but I do think that Minnesota team can make a legitimate run again. They are that good. I mean, 21-5 in their last 26. They'll get the winner of this Houston Golden State series. If it's Golden State, I think that Timberwolves team is just too big for not a very big Golden State team. I'm not too sure what to make of Houston because they absolutely rolled last night. But man, Huss, it was so bad and there haven't been many times, but it was so bad last night I couldn't even watch.
Did this come across your across your feed today? Ants victory lap through downtown LA. I don't know what was going on there, but basically they've got a guy filming him. He's got sort of an entourage, and it's after the game.
Yeah, I think that marquee is like somewhere right in or just around the stadium where he was. I think that's what it was, wasn't it? Is that what you're talking about? When he went?
Yeah, I guess it's probably in that LA Live.
Ant-Man, something man, Superman, Lakers in 5, and walked out. Yeah, I have to say, man, I kind of love this guy. He's a great ball player, and last night he did his whole post game. He didn't pick up the mic. Like the other players are holding mics, and he just sort of sat there and chatted. Didn't even pick up the mic. He's got some swag, and that dude can back it up. And I think they're going to be a problem. Conference final last year. I think they'll probably be back there again, and then we'll see what happens against OKC likely. But yeah, that was tough last night. What's coming up on WST, Huss? What do you got going on today?
Well, listen, it's all about Game 5 last night. I mean, we'll hear from the coaches, break down what happened in the game, look ahead to Game 6, probably start a prayer circle for Mark Scheifele, and just get into it. Kenny Weeb from the Free Press is going to jump on with us. We'll have Scooch, we'll have Connor, Remus, myself, tons of feed reaction from last night's game, and as I say, and it'll be fun. And then I can't wait for these games tonight with 4 Game 6s, and we'll see what we get for Game 7s from these 4 tonight. But
you pulling up to Win City tonight, Huss?
Well, probably. I mean, I might need a nap after WST, to be honest with you. But I'll be definitely checking in on the late games, I think, and then getting ready for a standalone Jets Blues tomorrow, right here. Well, not right here in Winnipeg, in St. Louis, but this entire city will be on pins and needles to see whether we're getting Game 7 or whether this team's moving on to round number 2.
All right, buddy. You have a good show, and we will chat with you tomorrow, man.
Right on, man. Take it easy.
There you go. That's Huss. He's heading back over to Winnipeg Sports Talk. That show will be starting at noon today. Our Lock Shop Partner Parlay is up, and it was boosted from plus 718 to plus 760. If you would like to get on this bad boy, hop over to playalberta.ca, click on EST specials, and we now have 3 special bets already locked and loaded in there. The early bird bet from this morning, Oilers to win, McDavid 2 points, Bouchard a point, and a Draisaitl goal. That's sitting at plus 325 right now. My play of the day today, Zach Hyman to score a goal, plus 203. And then the Lock Shop Partner Parlay. I did switch it up a little bit from what we were talking about. I did, Huss seemed to kind of not mind the Oilers on the puck line tonight. So Oilers by 2 or more, Avs and Wild both on the money lines, plus 760. If you want to ride with us over at playalberta.ca, we will be adding the DGen Dens Grandest parlay, and Jay's play of the day will be popping up there a little bit later on today as well. If you have not yet signed up for an account, or if you have an account and you're looking for a little bonus action, here's what we've got for you with our new partners over at Play Alberta. Not just the presenting sponsor of the Lock Shop, not just our official betting partner, but Edmonton Sports Talk, now presented by Play Alberta. Hop on over to your account. Many people have been showing me, they're like, hey, Dusty, I haven't been in my account for a while, but I'm back, baby. Let's go, which is great. So if you go and Big Dave was asking, he's like, Dusty, can you do like a betting 101 video and just kind of explain a lot of the stuff? I was like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. I'm not going to be able to bang it out this week. Lots on the go, kind of tired, but next week I'll look into that. Maybe we'll just kind of record something and then just post it on YouTube for people. But deposit $20 right now and use the code 100sports for a $100 free bet. That is there for new and existing players. So whether you're just signing up for an account or you already have an account, deposit $20, use the code 100sports, and you'll get a $100 free bet. And then when you go in, you select what you bet on, then it pops up as an option of using your $100 free bet. I had another buddy who was like, Dusty, I can't find it. That's how it works. You go, you pick your bet. And then if your the bet that you've selected is eligible for the free bet, then you'll be able to select that. If you want to try out the casino, I haven't dabbled in this much myself, but I'm definitely going to check it out. You can deposit $20, use the promo code 100casino, and you get a $100 casino bonus. And then, this is a good one as well. $5 minimum deposit. Use the code YEG50, and you get a $50 free bet with just a $5 deposit. YEG50 on the promo code, and you get a $50 free bet there. Don't go crazy on it, obviously. Use your game sense. And, always can make things a little bit more interesting. Lots of people texting in today saying they've decided to ride with us tonight as well. And a few people are like, Dusty, it's showing up as a different number. It's showing up for me as 4.25. Once again, you need to, on the app you go into, there's two different ways to change it. If you're on the desktop and you hear me say, oh, get it now, it's plus 325, and you see 4.25, that's because you have the decimal odds selected. So right in the middle of the screen where it says home, my bets, my favorites on the right side, it'll say decimal. You just change that to American. And then over on the app, I had to do this myself. When you log into the app, there's like the three little dots up on the left, and you click on that, and then you click preferences, and then sports settings. And then that's where you get to the decimal odds or American odds. And you know what? I'll say this for the longest time, like way back in the day when I started betting on sports, like almost 20 years ago now, I was always like a decimal guy. And then probably about 10 years ago, I decided to grow up and become an American odds guy. And they were a little bit confusing to understand at the beginning. So I understand some people who might be a little hesitant and want to dabble in a little bit, but would like some more info. And maybe I'll be able to provide that for you next week. All right, coming up next, two guys and a goalie as we will get you ready for a big one tonight. The Oilers with a chance to put the Kings to bed once again, which is kind of exciting. Very much looking forward to keeping you all in the loop all the way up until puck drop tonight. Edmonton Sports Talk is not going anywhere. So please tell your friends that if they want 14 straight hours every single game day from 6 in the morning until puck drop, then this is the place to be. Two guys, a goalie, myself, Cass, and Gagers on the way. That is going to do it for the Lock Shop today, brought to you by our new partners over at Play Alberta. Exciting times for EST and Play Alberta. I'll talk to you in the Lock Shop in about 5 minutes.